Hello students, welcome to Nagesh Karazi Orchid School channel. Myself Priya teacher, and today I am going to teach you science subject for class 7. So in our previous session we completed lesson number 15, light. So whatever activities I told you to do, you have to do from that lesson. So today we are going to start a new lesson, lesson number 16. Name of this lesson is a water, a precious resource. Okay. So this lesson we will discuss today. In this lesson we are going to learn about water only. Okay. So all we know that how water is important for our life. So water is very important for us. So about this water we will discuss in this lesson, that what are the sources of water, then how we can save water, and why we don't have to waste it, and also that what is the recycle of water, and also some points are there which are going to discuss here about the pollution of water. Okay. So let us start our new lesson. So water is a natural resource that is vital for both plants and animals. So vital, it means very important. Okay. So water is a natural source, we know. So we can't make water at our home. Okay. As we make our food at our home, like this we can't make this water. Okay. So it is a natural resource, water we find in nature only. So that is why it is said that water is natural resource that is vital for both plants and animals. So we know whenever there is a growth of plants, so for growth of plants, plants require water. We know that preparation of food process is there, photosynthesis is there in plants. So plants also need water there. So for growth also, for preparation of food also, these plants need or require water. And animals, all animals need water only. And we know if in summer season we are very thirsty and we are going for suppose somewhere. So at that time, if we don't have water in summer, so we can't feel relaxed. Okay. So when we will use cold drinks, okay, instead of water, then also you will feel thirsty, because only water can make your thirsty feeling relaxed. Okay. So that is why water is very important for animals, and each day, every day we need water, and also we have to take water in a day 6 to 7 glasses, or we can say 1 to 1.5 liter of water we have to take into our body. Then water exists in abundance on our planet Earth. So where water exists? So water exists in abundance on our planet. It means whatever important places are there, whatever importance is there, it is required. So it is very important on Earth or planet which is named as the Earth. So here in this image, or we can say picture, here it is given that seas and oceans are having 97.41% of total water. So whatever total water is there on Earth, from that total water, if suppose that total water is of 100%, okay, we suppose that 100% of water is there on Earth. So when we saw 100% of water, from that 100%, seas and oceans are having 97.41% of water from that 100%. So it is not useful. All we know that ocean water we can't drink, or any other animals can't drink it. So whatever living organisms are living in these seas and oceans, they are also not require this type of water, or they don't need water for their food preparation or drinking. So they use only for capture the food, okay, and for the respiration process. So then whatever remaining part of this water is there, so we can see 2.59% of water. So from this 100%, only 2.59% of water is there, which is called as a fresh water. So only 2.59% is a fresh water, and this water can only used by the animals and also from the plants. So again in this circle what is given here? So fresh water. Then fresh water, from this fresh water, glacier and ice caps is of 1.954%. Okay. So from this 2.59, see 954% is a glacier. So glacier, it means impurities. So impurities and ice cap. So whatever ice regions are there, so there we can find fresh water is in this ice cap, in this form. Which form? Ice caps. Okay. And then remaining one, it is only 0.592%. So only from this fresh water, only 0.592% of water is a groundwater. Okay. And then from this whole 2.59%. So we can see here, this is a little bit slight here. Okay. So it is a slit, we can say, of 0.014%. So this is a 0.014% is from lakes. Then it is used for the plants and animals. It is we can find in the rivers. Then we can find in the water vapors. Okay, like this. And also from in a soil moisture. So whatever moisture is there in a soil, this is also having a water. So only from this 0.014%, you can see 0.07% water is there in a lakes. Then 0.0001 is used for the plants and animals, by the plants and animals, and 0.0001% is found in a rivers, and 0.011% which is in the form of vapors from this river surface, and again 0.005% water is we can found in soil moisture. Okay. So this is a very abundance on our planet earth, water exists. So whatever existence of water 100%, see only 0.0001% is used by the plants and animals for their day to day life, and only 0.0% water we can find in a lakes, rivers and soil moisture. So we can see that how low percentage are there which is useful for the plants and animals. Now next, forms of water. So we know in our previous class we learn about the states of substances. Okay. So here also it is given forms of a substance, or forms of a substance we can say. So here it is forms of a water. So there are three states of water. They are solids, liquids and gases. So here is a diagram of forms of water. First you can see solid state of water, it is a ice. So ice is a solid state of water. So it is water freezes to ice at 0 degree Celsius. When there is a 0 degree Celsius temperature, then we can change liquid water into the ice water. So liquid water is a liquid in a state and ice is a solid in a state. Then from this solid it is going to change into the liquid form. So water remains liquid between 0 degree Celsius and 100 degree Celsius. So from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius, water can remain liquid form, in a liquid form. And then again from this liquid water we are going to change it into the gaseous form. So water changes to the steam at 100 degree Celsius. So when we heat this water, liquid water, we can get steams, or we can see steams, or we can get vapors. So that vapors are nothing but the gaseous form of water. So it can be changed after 100 degree Celsius or at 100 degree Celsius. Now next it is water cycle. So what is water cycle? So water cycle, it means from water it is going to change its states, it is going to change its place, it is going to change its temperature, and again we are going to get water. So this is the simple meaning of this water cycle, we can say, but here a scientific meaning is given in this on the screen. See, read this. What is water cycle? So what is mean by water cycle? So water cycle, it means the continuous circulation of water in nature is called water cycle. So one more time, read this. The continuous circulation of water in nature is called water cycle. So circulation. So in a circle there is a circulation. So here it is given a structure of a water cycle, or a diagram of a water cycle, or we can say a figure of a water cycle. So here you can see sun is there, a lake is there, or it is given ocean. Okay, so ocean is there. So whenever there is a surface of a ocean, surface of a river, surface of a lakes, if it will come in contact with heat of a sun. So because of heat of sun, what happens? So whatever water is there on the surface of ocean, it is going to change into gaseous form, and that process it is called as a evaporation. And from this evaporation process, that gaseous liquid form is going to change into gaseous form, and these vapors are going towards these mountains, whatever mountains are there. So to these mountains it is going to change, and here it is given that snow is there. So because of this cool air, these water vapors are going to change into snow, it is given, but they are going to change into the solid structure, and again in a cloud structure, and these clouds are going to that region where there are a number of forests are there. So after this cloud formation, what happens when they get a cool air, because of the trees, whatever trees are present there, or trees are there in a mountain region, because of that what happens, these clouds are again going to change into a liquid form. So this liquid form is nothing but it is a rain. Okay, so you can see here rain is going to, or rainwater is going towards again the river, in the river or in a lake, and these rivers are again going to reach to the ocean. So from ocean water is going to travel through the mountains, through the clouds, or we can say through the snow, again to the ocean. So this is called as a water cycle. So this is a circulation of water in a nature, that is called as a water cycle. So hope you understood what is exactly mean water cycle. So these processes are there. So these important processes are there in water cycle. First one, evaporation. So the conversion of liquid to the vapor is called as a evaporation. So conversion, it means change. So whenever that liquid water is going to change into water vapors, so whatever gaseous form of water is there, that gaseous form of water, it is called as a water vapor. So when liquid form water is going to change into vapor, it is called as a evaporation. So this process is called as a evaporation. So this is the first step of water cycle, and this is the first procedure of water cycle. So when because of heat of sun, whatever water is there on the surface of ocean, or on the surface of lake, or on the surface of river, it is going to change into vapor, and this process is called as a evaporation. Then next one, it is a condensation. So condensation, what it means? Next procedure or next step of water cycle, it is a condensation. The conversion of vapor to liquid is called condensation. So when whatever vapors are there, they are going to reach to the mountains, these vapors are going to change into liquid, is called condensation. So after evaporation, whatever gaseous form of water is there, so it is going to, these particles, water vapors are going to come together and they are going to form a cloud, and these clouds are going to reach to the mountains, and while they are going to reach to the mountains, because of the trees, whatever trees are present there, so these trees are going to produce, or they are going to make whatever air is there, they are going to make that air cool, and because of this cool air, whatever vapors are there, they are going to change into liquid form, and this process is called as a condensation. Then precipitation, so the falling down of water from clouds is called the precipitation. So next it is precipitation, it is called the falling down. So from this cloud, when that water is going to fall down on ground, we can say, or on earth we can say, so that is called as a precipitation. Then transpiration, again one more procedure is there, so it is not included in a water cycle, okay, but it can be part of a water cycle, we can say. So these are evaporation, condensation and precipitation. These are the three processes, three steps of water cycle, so by which water is going to change into vapor and again it is going to change into liquid. Then transpiration, the loss of water through water vapor is called transpiration. So it happens in a trees, when trees are going to prepare their food or plants are going to prepare their food. After preparation of food, what happens, whatever excess water is there, so that excess water is exhaled or it is going to released into the nature or in atmosphere through or in the form of water vapor. That process, it is called as a transpiration, okay. So this is also a one more part. Then next it is uses of water. The uses of water can be broadly divided into agricultural, domestic and industrial uses. So whatever uses of water, we classified it into three types or in a three parts. First one agricultural, then second one domestic, and third one it is the industrial uses. So for agricultural needs 70% of water is required, then for industrial needs 22% of water it is required, and then remaining 8% water is used for our domestic needs. So agricultural use, so water is used for the irrigation fields through canals, pipelines and drip irrigation, okay. So when we are going to use water, rainwater, whatever rainwater is there in river or in a lake, so by this irrigation what we are going to do, so we are going to make some irrigation fields through the canals, pipelines and drips. We are going to provide water by these canals, pipelines and drip irrigation, okay. So this, like this, water is used in an agricultural area. Then nearly 60% of the Indian population depends on agricultural for their living and uses nearly 90% of all water for the irrigation. So what is the amount is there? 60% of water of the Indian population, sorry, from 60% of Indian population, what happens? So it is depend upon agricultural, okay, agriculture. We know that farmers are there, or the peoples who are farmer, they are 60% in our India, or they are dependent on agriculture. So for their living and uses nearly 90% of all water for the irrigation. Because of that 90% of water it is used for the irrigation. So percentage of water varies in different living organisms. Tree, it means whatever water is there, so we know we intake water, so other animals are also taking in water, and in their body water is present always. So what is the percentage is present there, so it is not same in each or in all animals, so it is different as per the animals, and we can say as per the living organism. So how it is different? So see, first one, tree, they are having 60% of water. So whatever structure of plant is there or trees are there, so from this 60% of water is there. Tomato, 90% water they are having in their we can say plant, and elephant, it is having 80% of water. Now water is used for cooking, bathing, cleaning. So what is the domestic use of water? So water is used for cooking, bathing, cleaning, and water is supplied by the municipality or from wells or bore wells. So from wells we know, in villages we can see wells are there, so which are underground, and some are on the ground also we can find these types of wells, and bore wells. So bore wells we know that that is the hand pumps we can see as a bore well, and sometimes hand pump is not there, but bore wells are there from which we can get water. Then municipal water supply, how it is supplied, and sewage treatment. So again sewage, you know what is mean by sewage, okay. So water purification plant is there, then first municipality is going to purify this water, and it is going to, then after that it is going to supply water, pure water to the cities or to the villages, and then it is shown that sewage treatment plant. So whatever impurities are there, they are getting impurities after the purification of water, that impurities are going to we can say sent to the sewage treatment plants, okay. So that sewage treatment is done here in this plant. So water is industrial use, water is used in industries as a raw material, solvent, then coolant, and for making electricity. So in industry, why or for what reason water is used? So it is a solvent, coolant, and making electricity. So World Health solvent, what it means? Any substance that can dissolve is called solvent. So when they are going to make any medicine, they are going to make any food product, so at that time they should have to mix different types of substances in each other. So we should have, then some substances can be mixed easily, but some substances cannot be mixed with each other easily. So that is why they are going to use water as a solvent. Because of that, what will happen? So these substances are dissolved in water, and after this the dissolved substances can mixed with each other. So for this purpose water is used in industry. And then World Health, coolant is liquid that is used for the cooling a machine. So for working many hours, it means 8 to 12 hours, that machines, whatever machines are there in industries, they can get hot, okay. So that temperature they can it will increase, and because of that it will get hot, and so for this we have to use this coolant. So coolant, it means that we are going to cool these machines. So sources of water. So precipitation in the form of rain or snow provides the fresh water to our planet Earth. So these are the sources of water. First one, precipitation. Then most of the fresh water returns to the oceans through the rivers flowing across the globe. So whatever precipitation water we is there, it is going to provide as a fresh water to the planet, and then this water is going towards the ocean again, or it is going to return to the ocean again through the rivers and flowing across the globe in the form of streams, we can say. And the various sources of water can be divided into two main categories. So these various sources are classified or divided into two main categories. First category, it is a surface water, and second category, it is a underground water or subsoil water, okay. So these sources are classified into surface water and underground water. So as their words are here, surface it means above the surface or above the earth surface, we can say. Underground it means inside the or into the surface, earth surface. So water present on the surface of the earth is called as a surface water. So it can be classified into three. Again this surface water. So you learn, have you read this? Water present on the surface of the earth, it is called as a surface water. Then it can be classified into three. So which three types are there? Rainwater, river and lake water, sea and ocean water. Okay. So sea or ocean water we can say, river and lake water we can say, and rainwater. So this is the surface water. Then next one, it is this is the picture of rainwater. Now river and lake water. Here you can see river and lake water. The water in these water bodies comes either from the rainfall or melting of snow on the mountains. So river is a surface water. Sea and ocean water. Oceans are huge store of water, millions of liters of water is present in them, but the water is salty and is not fit for any domestic or agricultural use. So this is another type of surface water, oceans and sea. Now underground water or subsoil water. So groundwater is the water under the ground where the soil is completely filled or saturated with water. So groundwater, what is mean by groundwater? Groundwater is the water under the ground where the soil is completely filled for saturated with water. Okay. So this is called as a groundwater. Then rainwater seeps through the topsoil and layers of the rocks like limestone, sand and gravel, and gets collected on top of non-porous layers. So in our previous lesson number 9, soil, we learn about the profile of soil, and we know there are different types of soil, and whenever there is a different types of soil, and we can see that limestones, sand or sandy soil is there. So from this limestone, sand and gravel, and that water is going to we can say secrete or we can say absorb by these pores. Okay. So whatever gets collected on the top of the non-pore layers. So from this top soil, that water is going to absorb in ground. So the top level of this underground water is called water table, and underground water is called and aquifer. Okay. So whatever top soil is there or top level of ground is there, underground is there, it is called as a water table, and underground water is called as a aquifer. Now underground water or aquifer, it is shown by this picture or in this figure. So water table is given, the transpiration by the vegetation, by the plants it is given, then unsaturated zone, water table, then unconfined aquifer. So whatever water is there underground, it is called as a aquifer. Next, this is a dam. By the dam, okay, so by not allowing to pass water through the rivers, we are going to make these dams. So this different types of dams are there. We can make then scarcity of water. So scarcity of water is defined as a situation where there is a insufficient water to satisfy normal requirements. So what is mean by scarcity of water? Scarcity, it means the water amount of water is there, or percentage of water is minimum there. Okay. So it is very less there we can find. So that is why it is called as a scarcity of water, is defined as a situation where there is a insufficient water to satisfy normal requirements. So we know in Rajasthan there are so many peoples who can't get water for drinking also. Okay. So they have to go for 10 to 15 kilometers, then they can get water for drinking. Okay. So like this area is called we can say it is having a scarcity of water. Then increasing population So why this condition is going to happen here? So because of increasing population, suppose in Solapur whatever amount of water we can get from the municipality and that population is going to increase, so we will not get water or the required water there. So that this will happen because of increasing population. Then increasing industries. So if suppose industries will increase, number of industries are there, so industries will need more water for their purposes. Agricultural activities, so we are going to use water for the agriculture, then it will increase, so again we will require more water. So and deforestation, because of this what will happen, trees will decrease, okay, number of trees will decreases, forest will not there, and because of that water can't be absorbed by the soil, that groundwater level will also decrease and rainwater level will also decrease. So that is why the scarcity will happen or occur. So what water scarcity will result in the insufficient plant growth, decreased food production and famine. So this is called as the, so these are the causes. Again these causes are discussed here, so we are not going to discuss. Then effects of the water scarcity. What will happen because of this scarcity? So you must have seen potted plants. Then what will happen? So we will not get plants. Then these plants need water to get nutrients, so they will not get nutrients also, they can't complete their food cycle or food preparation process, and also animals will also will have to fight more to survive. So that is why this is very harmful effect because of the scarcity of water. Then conservation water. So what is the way to stop this? So there is a way, it is called as a conservation of water. So we can conserve water, we can save water by the avoid wastage, repair leaking and water the plants. So by watering plants we can save plants, okay, we will get trees, we will get forests, and because of that level of rainwater we can increase. And when we are going to for avoid wastage, so we will save water and repair leaking. So whatever leak taps are there, we should have to repair them, so there will be no wastage of water. So these are some ways to conserve water or to save water. And also one more way is there to conserve water, it is households can save water by promptly fixing leaks. So we can fix leaks and also we can use minimum water, okay. So we don't have to waste water for bath, for cleaning and also for gardening, etc. okay. So by this way we can also save water. Then recycling of water. So how we can recycle water? So see here, rainwater harvesting. So rainwater harvesting we can do here. In this picture you can see this is a home, and by this rainwater we are going to collect this water in this tank, okay. So a tank you can see here, and then this water is going to store here another tank, and we are going to use for the daily use or for our domestic use. And again one more way is there, we can make a tank underground also, and we can collect and we can get that water which is absorbed by the ground by this rain, okay. So this is the one more way by which we can conserve water or we can recycle water, okay. So hope student you understood whatever concepts we learn in this lesson, lesson number 16, water a precious resource, okay. So we will stop here. So this lesson is not for exam, that is why we discussed in one part only. So we will stop here. Thank you.